Hello everyone, we are Team Storytellers and this is our presentation for our game Fragments of Time. This game is set in a universe which is tormented by a great curse, but there is still hope for this world as our protagonist Asha sets out on a journey guided by the spirit of her ancestors to find these lost mystical gems which will help her solve this curse. Gameplay will essentially comprise of the player using certain powers to solve puzzles, and thus the character will be able to progress in the level as well as the story. With Fragments of Time, we aim to weave the story seamlessly into the gameplay so that the player will be emotionally involved into the game. Fragments of Time is being developed for tablet devices using Unity game engine.
In this game, you play as Arya, the ancestor of Asha, the protagonist you can see on the screen. You use your time-based power to help her going through the game's world. The first power consists in windows that you may move on the screen. You can see the game's world through these windows at a different time, and by putting the correct window at the correct place, you clear the path of the protagonist. These windows are called Fragments of Time, and they are of three types. The first one switches between day and night. In this example, wild animals appear at night, but if you put a day window, they simply disappear and the path gets cleared. The second fragment of time switches between wet and dry season. During dry season, the canyon can be crossed, but during wet season it is full of water. The character can swim to the other bank. And finally, the last fragment switches between past and present. This temple is in ruins nowadays, but in the past it was a huge building on which you can climb on. By combining these windows, you can solve the most complicated puzzles set on your way.
The second power is gesture. The player can make gestures to switch between weather, which directly affect the environment of the game and provide a novel way to interact. The weather basically consists of calm, windy and stormy, which affect each and every window present in the level simultaneously. Each weather has unique gesture. For example, when you draw a wave gesture, it creates wind, and lightning gesture makes the level stormy.
In this scenario, the player can see a tree stump in the present. If he moves the past window over the stump, he can see the tree that used to be there and the fruit it bears. If a wind gesture is made, the fruit falls from the tree and the player can see that his actions in the past have altered the present as well. In this case, a new tree has grown where the fruit fell in the past.
Art is an integral part of the experience of our game. Being focused on a change of time and seasons, we need the colors to naturally represent and imply the changes, like a deep blue hue for night and yellow or orange to represent dry season. We plan to have narrative in the game and aim to create a fairy tale-like environment to complement the same. To maintain this feel, we will use very little texture on the surfaces and instead use simple and stylistic shapes to depict most things in our game.
Fragments of Time is a part puzzle and part experience game. This means that the art and sound are going to have a big impact on the immersion of the player in the game. We plan to have a narrative similar to Bastion or Thomas Was Alone to make the player relate to the story. Fragments of Time will appeal to people who are into puzzle solving, who are in search of adventure, and who like to be immersed in the narrative of a game. The kind of experience our game would bring is similar to the likes of Journey, Limbo, and Machinarium.
In the first 2 weeks, we want to finalize the features and develop all the core mechanics. In the third week, we will be continuing with the level design and also do a complete integration of all mechanics. In weeks 4, 5, 6, we will be doing the level implementations as the assets are done simultaneously, so that we have time in the last weeks to polish the game and add extra features.
So, to summarize everything, main highlight is that player will be able to interact with the environment directly by making use of different fragments of time and drawing gestures on the screen to change weather rather than controlling the character itself. This in turn makes the player figure out his own innovative way of completing the puzzles and discover multiple backgrounds for one scene and unfold the story as he progresses. All these features support the storyline very well and adds up to an element of storytelling through music, cinematics and in-game narration and gameplay. Thank you.